In this video, I'm going to share the 3 A/B tests no one else is talking about that will scale the revenue you generate from email marketing. What's going on, guys? My name is Kyle Stout, founder of Elevate and Scale. Our clients typically see between 30 to 50% of their total revenue attributed to email. If you'd like email marketing to be a reliable and insanely profitable sales channel for your business, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this one. Now let's get into it. Okay, so everyone likes to talk about A/B testing subject lines and preview text, and sender names, CTA buttons and colors, blah, 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 all of that. And those are fine and definitely things you should do, but I want to give you a few A/B tests you might not have considered before that are really easy to implement and can have a dramatic effect on your email performance. So the first one is testing send days and send times. So over the course of the next several weeks, several months, depending on how big your email list is and how frequently you're sending campaigns, you want to test sending emails on every day of the week and multiple times per day so that over time you can find the ideal days of the week and in the times of those days for you to send your emails. So if you have a smaller list and maybe you're only doing you're sending out one campaign a week, or maybe you're only doing like a bi-weekly campaign, it's going to take a little while to to figure this out. But if you have a bigger list and you're sending multiple campaigns per week, then you're going to be able to get this figured out pretty quickly. And the great thing is that you really only need to do this once. I mean, sometimes we'll go back in and, maybe like once we've got it figured out, we might go back in, once or twice a year and test this again just to see if things have changed. But the cool thing is that once you get this figured out and you know your audience, you can pretty much just rely on that going forward. And it just helps everything else you do with your campaigns going forward. It helps you just have a little bit better chance of success with every email you send. So the way to do this is just start by, let's just say you've planned out your campaigns for the next month or so. You want to plan it to where over the course of the next 7 emails, that those emails are going out on a different day of the week. So anytime Sunday through Saturday, right? And then, so that's the day of the week. And then for each day, first start by just testing maybe an early morning send versus an afternoon send. So you're really going to be looking at, first, you're just kind of starting in the ballpark of it's either going to be early morning, mid-morning, afternoon, or evening. Those are kind of the general ballpark ranges. And then usually when you're doing that, one will outperform the other pretty significantly. So you kind of have an idea if your people are the type to, open and engage with emails more in the morning, or if they're like to do more of that in the evening. And this is going to vary again by industry, by brand, but also just, even people or businesses that sell similar products, they just have different customers who just behave differently. So what you do with one brand won't always necessarily apply to another one, which is why you want to test this. But the way you can do this, an easy way, is to just create a spreadsheet, and you can do this yourself or have a VA do this. Just create a spreadsheet where you're tracking the basically you want to make note of what you've tested against each other and then which one won. So as you start sending those out, you kind of track, and then you can have it where you've got columns for days of the week, and then as you go down in rows, you have the different emails, and then you can put the 2 times that you tested and then the winning time. So you'll get to where you've kind of figured out the ballpark, whether it's morning or afternoon or evening or whatever. Then you start testing different times within those ranges against each other, and then you'll get to where it's pretty consistent. Usually you will find a time that, like 80% of the time, 90% of the time will beat any other time that you test against it. And then once you have that, then now you're just always sending your campaigns at that time. And usually that means a big boost in open rates, but also you usually will see a pretty significant boost in click rates and revenue. So it's definitely worthwhile to do this up front. Again, this is something that's great because it's a little bit of extra work up front, but you can front load this to where that little bit of extra work today goes very far for you in the future, because you're going to use that data, in all the coming months and years that you're doing email marketing. So that's the first one. And that's a pretty simple one. So the next one would be testing segments. So this would be sending the exact same email to different segments on your list and seeing how these different segments respond to that. So this is a great way to figure out if different segments, how they respond to a particular offer or a particular product or a particular marketing angle or type of content. So rather than sending to everyone or sending to maybe like a catch-all segment, like a 30-day engaged, a really easy way to get started with this, if you don't have a lot of segments and you don't have a really big list where you can do all kinds of really cool segments, would be to create some customer lifecycle segments. And I have a video on this where I've talked about that, so you can just check that out. It'll be linked somewhere here on the screen. So in there, I show you how to create the segments for people who have never purchased, one-time customers, repeat customers, and then VIP customers. So this is great because you can test. What you can do is you can start on one end of the spectrum or the other. So you can either start with the people who have never purchased and then start rolling out this campaign to your better and better customers, or you can go in the reverse where you first send it to your VIPs and then you roll it out to what's usually going to be, the much bigger segments, which are the people who haven't purchased as much or people who have never purchased. You do want to look into the analytics as you're doing this, but you can get a really good idea of the engagement, the average order value, those kind of things with your different segments by testing the same email or the same offer against those different segments. And over time, as you learn more about your segments, you can have a much better, a much stronger, more effective email campaign strategy by creating emails specifically for segments that are a lot more personalized to the people in those groups, which means it's just going to resonate more with them, and it's going to be a lot easier to get engagement and to get sales. And if you want to learn more about that, again, I have a full video taking you step by step on how I plan a monthly campaign calendar and planning the content of emails, taking angles that are specific to a certain segment. So again, check out where I've got it linked, and you can also just look at the playlist on YouTube, the e-commerce email marketing playlist. I've got resources for all the stuff I'm talking about here to show you how to do all of this. Okay, now the third A/B test I want to talk about, which I alluded to a minute ago, is testing offers. So this is where now you're sending an email to any particular group, whether it's, it could be a big segment or whatever, but you have everything is exactly the same except for the offer. So in this case, you might have some sort of promotional offer. So it could be a BOGO, it could be maybe a buy two, get one free, it could be a flat rate percentage off, whatever it is. But in this case, we want to use something where you've got some sort of promotional offer like that. And again, leave everything else the same in the email so that way you make sure that what's having an impact on the results is not because you totally changed the content or you changed, you changed the main hero image or anything like that. And the way you can test this is that you just set up a unique coupon code for each offer. And then you don't want to show that on the website because that's going to confuse people if they go on the website and they see two different coupon codes or two different offers being promoted. So this has to be an email exclusive thing. So the group who receives version A, they're given their coupon code, and then the group that receives version B, they're given their coupon code, and they don't know that the other group is getting a different offer. And then you see which offer generates more sales. But also, not only are you looking at total revenue, a lot of times when you're crafting these different promotional offers, some of them are going to encourage a higher average order value than others. So, sometimes you might have more total revenue, but you took a big hit on the margin, so it wasn't as profitable. So this is where you can really see what type of offer that your people respond strongly to, but also you can find that balance between where you're getting a good profit still. One thing you can do to, take this type of testing to the next level would be to do this exact thing I just outlined, this offer A/B test, to a small engaged group on your email list. And then once you identify the winner, then you roll that out to a much bigger group of your email list, because you already know what's going to work better for them and work better for you. And now you roll this out to a much larger segment. And now you're going to be able to capitalize on that. So that's something that you can like literally do this week, right? And same thing with testing segments. That's something where you can get started and start seeing results from that over the next couple of weeks. The send days and times, that's something I definitely recommend prioritizing and just kind of getting out of the way as quickly as possible. And then that way you just have that information available to you. But I will say that just, because I don't want to get your hopes up about that, that typically isn't going to have this like extreme, impact on revenue from the individual emails you're testing. That's more of something that it might take several iterations before you find the winner, and then that winner is going to be dramatically better than the starting point, but it's kind of more of an incremental thing. So, and that leads me to what I want to close with here. I want to just briefly touch on the mindset that you have to be successful with A/B testing. So for salespeople, the mantra is always be closing. For marketers, the mantra is always be testing. So don't worry if your A/B tests aren't getting dramatic results. Sometimes the variable you're testing won't make much difference at all, and at other times it's going to dramatically change the outcome of your campaign. So you're going to have both cases and everything in between. So you just have to remember it's all a learning process. And the most important thing is to continually build on what you're learning so that you're gradually improving over time. And of course, take all the big wins you can get along the way. All right, so that's it for now. Go ahead and start implementing those A/B tests and let me know how it works for you. You can either drop some comments on this video or on future videos, or shoot me a message, find me on social. And I want to know how these are working for you, and I want to get your feedback. So as always, be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to guarantee that you're sending highly engaging emails that generate more sales, download the free checklist linked below called Win Before You Send. I'll see you in the next video.